This is George Dionne with Metal Express Radio, and I'm here with Richard Black of Shark Island. How you doing today, Rich?
Hey, George. Good to see you. How you doing?
Good. Do you prefer Rich or Rick?
I like Rick, actually.
All right.
I mean, it was, everybody's doing the Richard thing, and I thought it was a little bit too formal, but when I was growing up, my friends called me Rick, so that's okay with me.
We'll roll with that.
All right.
If I knew absolutely nothing about Shark Island, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Well, I guess we're like a hard rock band, melodic hard rock band, I would say. That would be the best describer. I mean, we've been around since, I've been doing this anyway with that moniker since like the late 70s even. So I've been doing this for quite some time, and we kind of developed a kind of a cult following, so to speak. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
You just released Bloodline 2.020.
Perfect. That's exactly right.
It's the deluxe edition of an album you released about a year ago.
Yes.
You self-released it in a limited run, and now you're with Deco Entertainment. So how did that all come to be?
Well, we were with this kind of a boutique record company on Manifest Music. We did a couple albums with them, and we pretty much catered to, again, our little cult following, and we just put it out and basically sold out, and realized that we were kind of over our heads with this one because it went, and then we said, well, we don't have any access to get, big, larger territories, Japan and Australia and so forth. So we decided to hook up with Deco, and they're helping us out with that. So we're just kind of pushing it forward. That's how that 2.020 started, right? We had a couple of bonus tracks on there, and I'm glad, yeah. And that's how it started. So I guess it's good news. So to be sold out. So
absolutely. So one of the new songs that you added to the album is "Someday," and you released the video too.
Right.
This one's a real tearjerker. Is it autobiographical?
Well, I'm glad you admit that. It is, but in a sense that I kind of wrote it for the men out there, the men. And I think it's a condition that many people suffer from. They put off their lives, they procrastinate, and they constantly think that they're going to, do something better, and they'll be better someday, and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And they have all these dreams when they're young, and as you procrastinate, you get older, you realize that, wow, this really wasn't a dress rehearsal at all. I mean, life's fired at you point blank, and next thing you know, it's just too late to do all those things, and it's kind of a sad condition. But I think a lot of people can relate to it. I mean, I sure can, and I was hoping that it would maybe just wake some people up if they still have some time to pursue some of the things they wanted to, that they should do it sooner than later.
Absolutely. Very, very moving video on top of just the song being moving.
Thanks. Yeah. And we wrote it. I mean, I wrote it. It was like, that's the album was done, obviously, pre-COVID, but it was kind of prophetic in a lot of ways. And the way it kind of came together, the last song was on it that we did was On and On. And this kind of became a companion song, and it was written post-COVID. So we kind of bridged that whole, the two realms of the world. And it's the way it kind of came together. I think it's kind of fits really nice. I kind of call them companion songs, really, the two. So it comes together, and I think you just pursue things in life, and you just, it's just your problem solution. And as long as you keep that process going, you move forward. And if you, at any time you stop, you just kind of stagnate in life, and and that's pretty much the end. You know, we just, you know, get busy living or get busy dying, you know, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. From the greatest movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So you got some rockers on this song, but, you know, you chose to release the emotional stuff first. I thought that was unique in and of itself.
Well, it's certainly it's more poignant right now. I mean, you know, rocking is funny. That's where everything started with it. And, you know, it's fun to do all that, but you know, times are different. We're in a different realm right now. We're in a different world. Things have changed, and I think I don't think we, at least myself, I'm not really expecting it to come back in any real sense. And I think maybe this might be a direction, and maybe it's a seed for something new to develop out of it. So yeah, I mean, that's where my head's at right now, you know, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm not quite in the mood to go out and burn the house down right now, you know, and I can't. I mean, there's no live music anymore. There's not much of anything, you know. They want you to wear a diaper on your face and be home by 10 o'clock. You know, it's like, you know, want to be treated like children. So, I mean, and what do you do? What can you do about it? You know, you have, maybe we can be motivated somehow, and maybe, you know, there's only so much you can do with protest, but when somebody comes and tells you have to be home at 10 o'clock, I mean, I don't think I've ever been told. I think maybe when I was 13 years old, I should be home by 10 o'clock, but now, yeah, I'm, you know, who are you to tell me? But anyway, so that's kind of where my head's at right now, and we're gonna roll with that.
Absolutely. So you also covered Depeche Mode on this album.
Yeah. Well, the whole album is really kind of like I said, it's kind of a work and things that I've noticed in the world. I mean, when I started, you know, doing music, you know, late 70s and through the 80s and 90s. I mean, not so much the 90s, but songs were written about, you know, partying and love and unrequited, you know, feelings and all this stuff. And we don't write about those things anymore. I write now, my observation of the world is a lot different. Those kind of things aren't really even in style anymore. So the Depeche Mode song was I liked it because of the title. It was The Policy of Truth, because it seemed to be kind of a missing element in our lives. Truth it's not popular anymore. So I thought it was a good placemat, you know. It was a good placemat for the song and the message that all the songs kind of have, how they tie together. Like, you know, Seven Tears is really largely about the entertainment business by and large, and the kind of depravity, I guess, that goes on in there, and then there's the Rocks on the Rocks, which is, you know, it's about just escapism and partying and drinking, you know, to kind of deal with what is happening. And so each song kind of builds on each other. Fire in the House, of course, is an idea I had of a movement of people, you know, of having an awareness, so to speak, that people can go. To have a fire in the house is like almost like to have a feeling and a movement happening. And so we just went on a tangent, but that's why I have that's why I write the songs, you know, because it's easier to put the song together than to sit here and explain it, because I can do it in the song in 3 minutes, but here we'd be talking for a long time, and then the eyes would start to roll. So,
well, I don't think that you were going off on a tangent at all. I actually read that you wanted people to interpret what the songs were about themselves, but I think it's great when an artist does explain where they're at in a song, because I think that the listener looks at the song differently sometimes, as far as
sure, absolutely, yeah.
So you actually recorded this album on kind of opposite ends of the globe. You did it in Croatia.
Yeah,
You did it at home.
Yeah, we did it all over the place. It started off. We were doing a. I was out in Croatia, and I was going there like every year for extended periods of time. And there was a guy there that knew the band, and he said, I have a band, and we could learn all your songs, and why don't we just do a bunch of all the Shark Island songs, and we can play during tourist season here, and it'll be just fun. And he's like constantly bugging me about it, and I went, well, okay. So I agreed to it, and next thing you know, we were just like doing these live shows, and for tourists all around Europe and stuff. And then on Halloween, a few years ago, we decided to record it. So Halloween was like a really big deal in Croatia as far as the Day of the Dead goes. So, I got dressed up as Andy Warhol, and we recorded the whole thing, and we released a live vinyl album. And all of a sudden I was going, oh, this is fun. I haven't done this in a long time. And it was kind of fun. And I didn't have those ideas connected with it, like, trying to be successful and trying to make it happen. It wasn't that important to me. It was just kind of fun. It was fun to do. I had who gets the opportunity to go and, play the fool on stage and do all kinds of nonsense and have people tell you you're great by applauding and having them have fun and just everything really light. And it just I got reinvigorated with the whole idea of music and performance and stuff.
Well, the system today is a lot different than when Shark Island pretty much hit the mainstream, I guess.
Sure.
Speaking of which, 1989's Law of the Order, probably the album that fans associate you with most. What do you remember about recording that album?
It was a good experience. Recording Law of the Order. It was a long time. It was a lifetime ago. It really was a lifetime ago, and it was a feeling of accomplishment at the time. But I soon realized that I'm really essentially just beginning my career, even though I've been doing it for 10 years at the time. But I realized right away that I go, wow, this is just. I had focused so much of my time of getting into position to be able to do an album, and the time had arrived, and now I realized that I had really just begun. I just essentially just walked through the door, and now it's beginning, and the 10 years that were past really meant nothing. So, but that's how it is with life all the time. You just it is more of the journey than the destination.
So did Shark Island break up because of your involvement with Contraband?
Yeah, basically, it's a pretty long, complicated story, but it did. It was kind of I describe it as a black eye in my career, Contraband, and it was a series of poor decisions on my part, not knowing any better. But I kind of allowed certain things to happen, and Contraband was just kind of a concocted supergroup that kind of put an end to the group, because I was focused on I wanted to do my music and my band and this and that. And while Contraband was kind of held up as kind of a dangling carrot in front of me, like, hey, we're going to do this and that's going to launch your career. But it didn't really happen that way, because I was kind of deceived, and I kind of went along with it. And then next thing I knew, it was just too late. And then we lost the management and the record deal at the same time. And it was essentially like starting at zero again. And at that point, we were so broken, and I was just going, oh wow, I have to start over. I really at square one again. And we decided to take a big hiatus, and we just walked away from it.
What'd you do in the meantime?
Well, I started pursuing my other interest. I'm a metal sculptor, which is kind of ironic because metal music and metal sculptor. So I started doing that, and doing the whole circuit with art and installations for a long time, and that's kind of what I did. I was an artist.
So what got you back into the music?
Well, that was that thing. That was that thing in Croatia, being on vacation and having that friend talk me into it, and I kind of went, well, okay, this is not so bad. I mean, we did an album in there somewhere. We did Gathering of the Faithful when we kind of as a group got together again to do an album, and that's a really nice piece of work. But we didn't do, there was really zero promotion with that. That was a very kind of an underground record. So.
And then you went back to metal crafting in the meantime before Bloodline.
Yeah. Right. And that's and then my wife and I have an animal rescue ranch that we do. We rescue horses and goats and dogs and cats and donkeys and so we do that. But so I'm here and I'm doing my sculptor, and we have the ranch and all that. So a lot of things to keep me busy.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at Shark Island on Wikipedia, and I don't always trust what I read on Wikipedia. So I'll ask you direct. Is it true, or do you believe that Axl Rose kind of copied your stage mannerisms?
Well, you know what? Yeah, it was certainly true. I mean, at the time, we were playing in Hollywood for a long time, and we had a 2-year engagement at Gazzari's every Friday and Saturday on Sunset Strip. We'd play 2 shows a night, and there's a lot of people that would sneak in video cameras and film the band. And at the time, it's kind of hard to imagine, because today everybody has a video camera. They carry it with them everywhere they go. But at the time, it was a camcorder and this and that. And I remember going over to Axl's house, his apartment one time, and he had on his TV set, he had like a sizable stack of VCR tapes. They were like big cartridge tapes, and they were all of my shows and stuff. And then soon after that, they released their debut album, and then there was the song "Welcome to the Jungle," that was pretty much exactly kind of what my shtick was, my whole kind of thing on "Welcome to the Jungle." Just the outfit and the hair, and the attempt to do what I was doing. It was very derivative, and was very kind of obvious, and there was really nothing I can do about it. But to say that he stole my stage moves and what he did with it, I don't think was personally all that good, and I don't think he did a great job of it. But there was certainly more than just an influence of what I was doing. There was an appropriation of kind of my shtick, and you can tell that there was studied videotapes, and you can tell the similarities, and you can also tell. And I guess in his defense, if you look at Welcome to the Jungle compared to everything else he does, it's quite different, because he kind of changed his image a little bit more beyond that video. But that video is very on its own. It's really kind of different, and it's different than what he ended up doing. I didn't, whatever. I don't know what you would call that image that he does now. I don't know. Low life image. I guess that's like what you do. So what are you trying to be? Well, I'm trying to be a low life. Okay, well, you're doing a good job. So I mean, a lot of people were doing that. It was kind of fashionable to try to look like the bad guy, Where's my tattoo? Look how many tattoos I have. Look how much alcohol I can drink. Look how many women I could screw. Look at me. That was kind of, that's what everybody was up to at the time, right? So that's what rock and roll was kind of up to, But how authentic is it? I don't know. It's just kind of.
Well, they'll definitely find it hard to fit into today's society.
Yeah.
So, Bloodline's been done for a while. Have you been working on anything new?
Not really. I'm just not feeling it right now. I got this idea to do some more acoustic stuff, just stuff that's a little bit more, just a little bit more laid back, you know. And like you said, I was like, we're promoting these two slow songs on Bloodline, and I think I'm kind of digging that direction. You know, the way times change. You know, to use an analogy, I was really into like hot rods and stuff. And there was a time in the 80s when you would paint your hot rod like bright red and bright yellow and flames on it and everything really great. And then all of a sudden it kind of changed and everybody kind of walked away from that. And then was like, oh, we're going to do black and grays. And now they're not even painting their cars anymore. If everything's just kind of rust color and you leave it patina natural. So sometimes things just aren't, I don't see them as appropriate. And frankly, I don't really feel it. I feel I feel the doom and gloom. I feel the bittersweet, you know, sadness. That's what I feel. So that's what I can see myself writing that. But I don't know how much of a market there, how interested people would be in that. I don't know. But you know what? At this point, George, I'm not sure it matters to me. You know, I'm just going to do what I do, and there's bound to be somebody that'll find some interest and value of the work, and then there are people that won't. So that's fine. There's many bands, there's many groups, there's many songwriters. You know, I'm just a welder. So
a welder that made a couple of great albums.
Well, thanks. Yeah, but what do I know?
I've got Law of the Order. I've got Contraband. Still a good album. You may have had a bad experience. Still a good album. But that's all I got for you today.
Well,
and
thank you, George.
Speaking with Metal Express.
Thank you, George.